I think there's so much to be said about the clothes that we wear. We tell a story about who we are based on what we want the other person to see about us. The pants, the shoes, the shirt, they all send signals to the other person about who we are, what we're all about, what our personality is. And clothes have always fascinated me. When I was younger, I grew up in Olympia, and my mother loved to shop. And when I was with my mom and my sister, we would hide under the clothes racks. Maybe you've had similar experiences in the past. And as we were down there, we would look through and we'd see all of these people. And they were shopping, they were looking at try on clothes. And that had a major impact on my life over years of going to the malls and going to stores and seeing clothes, right? The popular kids had this type of shoe. I think at the time it was the Air Jordan 5s. Those are hot with the reflector on the front. Oh, I wish I had those, right? But we couldn't necessarily afford it at the time. But those have an impact on our lives, those experiences. And so for me, going to the mall, going to look at clothes, it was a way that allowed me to express who I was and experience something that perhaps somebody else had experienced prior. Vintage clothing. I love vintage clothing. It tells a story. It's worn out. It's been used. Has experiences with that piece of fabric. And so there's different time periods that we can be drawn to. And for me, I was always fascinated with the turn of the century, the top hats, the cane, the gentleman persona, if you will. And I loved watching movies. I loved learning about it. I think when I was at Tacoma Community College working on my second associate's degree, I had a history class, and this professor, unfortunately I can't remember his name, forgive me, but he told these stories about history in such a way that allowed me to feel like I was part of that history. And that started this experience or this quest going through antique malls, antique shops, looking for unique pieces that really resonated with me and I could have an experience with, if you will, right? But so as I was going through these antique malls and having experiences with clothes in these vintage shops, I felt different. I felt excited. I felt as if this piece of clothing was meant for me at this particular time in my life. And that piece of clothing allowed me to tell a story to somebody else. And that's why I'm passionate about clothing and